So let's say somebody starts dieting, their meals are under control, and over the course of the first 2 or 3 days, they start losing weight. And a lot of that weight is the fact that we're using stored carbohydrates, stored glycogen from our liver, our muscle tissue, releasing some water, and we're moving that needle. We do start using more body fat instantly in a calorie deficit, but the percent of that body fat use increases as other energy substrates just become less available, meaning stored glycogen.
Okay.
So over the course of those 2 or 3 days, you move to that metabolic position where you're using more body fat as energy. But as soon as I trip up, so to speak, and have a bunch of extra carbohydrates or a high calorie day, the first thing I do is refill those glycogen or carbohydrate stores. And so now I'm right back to the beginning where body fat use is a lot less efficient. So let's say, for example, you're dieting on 1,700 calories a day.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 1,700 calories on day one is not using very much body fat because I have all those stored carbs. Day 2, day 3, day 4, I start using higher percent of body fat. If I just stay there now, I'm using a maximum percent of body fat as energy. If I keep going back and forth, I'm diluting the amount of body fat I actually use. I'm essentially, going into debt, so to speak, with carbohydrates, where I have to pay those back first. I've increased those carbs. Now I've got to get rid of them before I can start using body fat.
Okay, so this, it sounds like, can really be impacted by, correct me if I'm wrong, the timing of our meals and how big each meal is that we're consuming, and when we choose to have those biggest meals throughout the day, and how our workouts are structured too.
Absolutely. For example, just based on what you just said, if you have just trained and you eat a meal, your body's metabolically going to use that meal much quicker. And so you're going to be in a calorie deficit again faster. So, you're going to use more carbohydrates, or more body fat, I should say, as energy after you use those carbohydrates. But if you're just kind of sitting around in the afternoon at your desk and you're eating every hour and a half or two, and you're not giving yourself a chance to use those calories from your meals, you're never going to start accessing secondary energy, which would either be the stored carbs or body fat, depending on your metabolic position. So in short, all of that matters. Once you have worked through stored glycogen levels in your body, a lot of the stored carbohydrates, and you're using body fat as a consistently increased level of body fat, you want to stay there. If you go back and forth, you can see that even with the same amount of calories per week, you're just not losing very much body fat. So that's the importance of metabolic positioning.